Well, hey, gang, welcome into another edition of Rock Talk right here on CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead Australia. My name is Bob Bannister. Now, before we get into things, why don't you do us a favor and smash that like button, hit that bell icon, keep up to date on all things Rock Talk, subscribe as well. If you're not already subscribed, I mean, why not? Tell me that much. And you can also click the comment as well and leave us a comment. Maybe there's somebody you'd like us to talk to somewhere down the road as well. So, on this edition of Rock Talk, we've got something very special coming your way. There's a band out of Australia that I am just absolutely in love with. These guys are awesome. They're called Cross-eyed Lover. They put out an album back in 2024 called Blonde Zombie, and just everything about their sound is just incredible. I love these guys. I would love to be able to see these guys live. It's just incredible how much these guys are so good. And I think I've had them on the top 20 countdown as well. They've also got a new single out called Moving On. You've got to check that one out. Maybe I'll throw it back on the top 20 countdown just to see if we can gain some traction on that one as well. So when I was asked to if I would like to speak with the guys from Cross-eyed Lover, I said, sure, absolutely, let's do it. So I hooked up with Jason and Sal from the band. We sat down, we had a really great chat about all things Cross-eyed Lover, rock music, Australian rock music, and everything in between. So let's step into the Rock Talk studio with Cross-eyed Lover on this edition of Rock Talk with Rock is Not Dead Australia and CGCM Rock Radio. This time around, we are joined by Jason Rigoli and Sal Truskello from the band Cross-eyed Lover from Perth, Australia. How you doing, guys?
Fantastic. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
All going well, Bob. And Happy New Year to yourself and the CGCM team as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We always have a lot of fun around Christmas, New Year's here at CGCM Rock Radio. We always put out our top 10 albums list. And all our DJs have been busily typing away and coming up with that. It's now published up on cgcmrockradio.com. And yeah, you never know who's going to end up on it. It's always a crapshoot, you know. So what's 2020? Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. Give us the story of Cross-eyed Lover, guys.
You want me to go, Jay?
Sure. Well, Cross-eyed Lover was. It started back in 2017, 28. It wasn't something that was planned. I suppose a quick backstory. Sal and myself were in a cover band for over a decade, and I've known Sal for over 40 years. And after the cover band finished, I think it was the end of 2012, it'd been probably 4 or 5 years after that, we decided to catch up just for a jam, just to catch up. And for whatever reason, we just kept continuing. We kept catching up every 2-3 months, and for whatever reason we were just writing music, and I would just record it on my phone, but again there was no plan. And it was probably a year after that, I had all this music. I had probably up to 12 songs, and when I say songs, it's the foundations of a song, or of songs, and which is just guitar and drums, but it was all pieced and arranged ready for vocals. And kind of had the chat, Sal and myself, what are we going to do with this music? And we just agreed to, let's try and get a singer, let's get a bass player on board, and let's take it next level. And that's what we did. We fortunately we got a guy by the name of Andy Smith on vocals, and Simon White on bass. And for a couple of years, we wrote, recorded, and then in 22 released our debut album, Blonde Zombie.
Yes, I was listening to Blonde Zombie there the other day. I've known about you guys for quite a bit, and keep going back, and I'm really digging on the new song, Moving On. But Blonde Zombie, such a cool album. I love that. And I was meaning to ask you guys, you've got a couple really cool deep album cuts on there. Gotta Get Out and Gutter Crawl. How important are those deep album cuts to the overall feel of a band or overall feel of an album or just the compiling of the album?
I think they're really important. When Jason and I talk about the bands that we love and we listen to, and often we're talking about, those deep cut songs. And so you obviously you don't go in there. I mean, we're, our first album, so you don't go in there knowing, we knew, Blonde Zombie was kind of the one of the first songs we wrote with Andy, and it was kind of always going to be that one that was out front. But you don't really go in there knowing about, what the other songs are going to be
Mhm.
like. But then once you've had time and it's recorded and you're listening back to it, even now, like, it's interesting you say that. I had a work colleague who I've been working with for a few years, and only just, we just got talking about music, and it turned out he was a musician. So I put him onto the album, and the first thing he goes, "Oh man, Gutter Crawl, that's a banger." So that was the song that he was attracted to as well. So they're really important, and I suppose it rounds out the album because you wanna listen to it as an entire piece of work, and especially when you've written it, you hear those songs maybe in a different way that maybe other people do because you've been there through that whole process. But I listen back to it now. They definitely stand out. Slave's the other one that I really like on that album, which is, again, wasn't released as a single, but I really enjoy that one. So very important from my perspective, I think.
So who do you guys draw your influences from? Because I listening to Gotta Get Out, that opening riff there, I'm listening to it, I'm going, nah, there's some ZZ Top there. I'm an old ZZ Top fan.
Yeah. It wasn't ZZ Top. Funny enough, Gutter Crawl was a Slash idea. It was an idea that we had, which came actually from a Slash solo album. But with the band, I mean, we've got four individuals with four different likes, but in that rock, hard rock, progressive rock genre. So, I'm more into the hard rock, Metallica, and the Aerosmiths and Skid Row, etc., AC/DC. Sal's into Australian hard rock bands, AC/DC and the Angels and Baby Animals and Screaming Jets. Andy's got that sleaze rock, Motley Crue and Lynch Mob and Dokken, and Simon, with the Winery Dogs and Rush and, new wave of British heavy metal bands as well. So when you kind of put all that into the mix, there's always going to be like a little bit of those influences. And the Gotta Get Out was Slash by memory. Gutter Crawl had a Aerosmith vibe to it. But it's funny that you do say ZZ Top because not for myself, I doubt with you, Sal, that you had a ZZ Top in your mind, but I know with a bunch of reviews that we got, ZZ Top was mentioned a bit. So it's interesting how, what people hear.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely, subliminally in there. And so I grew up on a steady diet of, 70s and 80s, American music, Canadian and Australian music. And, ZZ Top featured, I play Les Paul, it's a blues based kind of rock
Mhm.
that I enjoy listening to. So it certainly, comes out in the writing. And yeah, we're just kind of riffing away, which is, maybe something similar to what happens with those, blues based bands. It starts, with a guitar riff. So it's kind of guitar driven is kind of where things begin, and it kind of builds from there. So I think you're definitely on the money there.
So what is your creative process like? Is it like Sal comes into the studio or into the band meeting with a riff, or you do, Jason? Like what? How does that work?
Mainly guitar, yeah, guitar riff generally. Sometimes Jason's just got a feel. So because it was just us two originally, so we're just in a rehearsal room essentially, just knocking out some stuff. So it is sometimes a drum fill or a beat or a certain feel. There might be a song we like, and so it kind of gets us there. But generally, I'll have a guitar riff that I've sort of it's really the foundation, and then I'll say to Jace, I'm kind of this is kind of where I'm heading, and often it's at the very early stages, like, oh, it just sounds like this song, and so that's kind of where we go with it. But ultimately, you know, it ends up, you know, being Cross-eyed Lover. But that's basically it. So we kind of get the music side together from that perspective, drums and guitar, and we kind of piece together, you know, what is essentially an intro, a verse, you know, a bridge, you know, whatever, and an outro. So we kind of get those basic foundations there, and then we go to Andy and say, well, you know, there's a piece of music here. Let's see what you can do. And interestingly, with you know, with Blonde Zombie, that was the first one, and it really was only supposed to be for one song. Ended up being an album. So you know, we're really fortunate to have him on board to do that. But that's, you know, pretty much how we run. Jace will come back and he's saying, well, how about we try this, or you want to go halftime here, or you know, or let's have a, you know, in moving on, there's kind of that Ozzy Osbourne kind of halftime part in the middle, you know, which we kind of thought, oh yeah, we kind of like that, kind of like changing it up a bit, giving the song a bit of, I suppose, texture, dynamics. So yeah, it's definitely like a two-way kind of partnership in that perspective initially, and then it heads off to the lyric writer, you know, that to bring some more magic to it.
Absolutely. And if you had that one of those songs where, you know, you come in there and it's got a great idea and you think it's going to go and you just, no matter what you do, it's like pulling teeth to get the song to complete. But later on, something small happens and everything just clicks.
Absolutely.
There is a,
You go, Joe.
yeah, you go. No, you go.
I was going to say that often, Jay, you know, I'll have some music and I go, oh, look, this is really bugging me. It just sounds like the same thing going over and over again. And then it takes a non-guitarist to tell me, oh, maybe you should try this. So it's really good. Like, yeah, our brains are working kind of in different space, but that's really helpful. So there's been stuff we've had sitting around for years because I say to Jace, look, I just can't get anywhere with this. Like, I'm kind of stuck with it. But then you kind of keep playing it and eventually, you know, something comes out, and often it ends up being something vastly different to kind of even what it started out as. But yeah, certainly you get those periods where you kind of know there's something there, but it just, something about it isn't quite right, or just you're just kind of missing a bit, and you just keep knocking away, and you know, sooner or later something comes up. But it happens for sure.
I
And
think
I
that's
think also the beauty.
Mm.
Sorry, you go.
no, please go ahead.
No, I was going to say the beauty of it when Sal and myself are writing, we don't know where it's going to end up. We can assume and you know, we've got a rough idea where we think it's going to go, but then you give it to Andy and he may take it a different direction. And that's probably the exciting bit about the writing process, where it does start with Sal and myself, but then giving it to Andy goes a different direction, and then you give it to Simon and he's adding a different feel because, you know, the one thing with Simon, he's kind of like another rhythm guitar player with the way he plays the bass. He's not someone who will just follow what the rhythm guitarist does. So he adds like a different dynamic, and it's always really, it keeps the excitement levels always up for us because we don't know what's coming next when Andy takes it on board and then when Simon takes it on board, and etc.
Gutter Crawl's a great example of that bass line at the start. So I didn't write it with a bass line to start it like that. We just wrote, you know, that kind of guitar riff. And then, you know, a few weeks later, Simon comes back and he goes, oh, I've kind of done this intro thing, you know, and it's got this awesome bass line that happens before the song, you know, effectively, you know, essentially commences. So they're the things. So it's interesting because it's kind of, in some sense, it's not really an organic process. We're not all together in the same room. But then the beauty of it is it goes out to these other two, you know, artistic people, and they come back with their bit, and we get there, and obviously we rehearse it and get together and jam. But yeah, it's interesting how things come about, but certainly, yeah, parts just turn up like that.
And you would mention about you know, hanging on to stuff for a long time at times, and I think that's a trait of any of us creative people. You know, you never truly throw anything out. You keep that idea filed away, and because you never know when it's gonna, you know, become useful again, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, on my phone, I've got stuff from 2017, but you know, I suppose this will show our age. You know, I was talking about earlier about the cover band. So where Sal and myself were in a cover band for a decade, and when we would go to rehearsal, we'd rehearse all the songs that we'll cover in, and then there would be always these gaps where we had time up our sleeve just to jam, and I would bring in a cassette player because there was no Apple iPhone, you know, so I had a cassette player, and this is early 2000s, and I would record those jam sessions. So I've still got those cassette tapes from back early 2000, actually even late 99.
Oh, wow.
Late 90s, yeah, 98, 99. I've still got that on cassette. So never throw anything out, definitely. And I think Gutter Crawl, funny enough, was the only song from that period where that riff, we kind of took that and used it, some 15 years later to create what ended up being Gutter Crawl. But yeah, so no, we never throw anything out.
We're hoarders, yeah.
We're hoarders,
yeah. Yeah. I got my cassettes back here, many of which I collected as a young kid, and yeah,
and they are back now. Cassettes are back. Cassette players are back. I saw
absolutely.
I saw online, and I was at a shop just recently where they had cassette players and selling cassette tapes. So I think cassette tapes have been for probably the last year or so, but it's just funny how it all comes back around.
Yeah, exactly. And Sony's now marketing Walkmans again. I saw the new Walkman, and it's the size of a cassette case, and it actually compacts down around the cassette, and it's Bluetooth to your headphones, so you don't have to worry about the headphones. And it's really great.
Yeah.
So what's it like seeing Cross-Eyed Lover live? Like what do you guys bring to the stage?
Oh, look, I think, it's definitely, given the kinds of bands we've grown up watching, I think, the performance side of things is definitely, part of that. I mean, we want the music to speak for itself, but we definitely want to bring some energy. It's fast-paced music. Like there's not many ballads in the mix there. So definitely, it's high energy kind of rock. And it's kind of, I suppose, something that's kind of accessible. People can sing along and dance to, bang their heads a bit. So definitely, it's an energetic kind of high energy kind of vibe that we're bringing there. And certainly, as I said, our influences of all that, that fantastic music of the 80s and 90s, that those bands brought really good energy to their live performance. So we want to really emulate that when we're playing.
And what does the rest of 2026? I know we're just a few days in, but what does the rest of 2026 look like looking at the calendar?
Well, Sal and myself are catching up on Wednesday to write a couple more songs. He's got some ideas that he's had in his back pocket for a few months now, so we're going to work on that. Andy at the moment has got 2 songs which he's writing some lyrics for, which we plan to get together, just clean it up, and head into the recording studio and record a couple songs. But the plan moving forward would be recording those 2 songs. Hopefully, recorded a few more than just the 2 that we're looking at the moment. We've got plenty of music. I mean, we've got probably at least an album worth of music if we really want to go back in the archives. Actually, a lot more than that. But I know Sal and myself want to write some new stuff as well, and so we'll see. But definitely, we'll be in the recording studio. We'll be writing and releasing new music this year. In addition to that, we did write and record 2 songs last year. So Moving On was released on December 5th of last year. So it's been out. It'll be a month tomorrow. And but we've got a second single that'll be released in March, which we're excited about as well. And got a little bit of a different vibe to Moving On, but still, up tempo and very riff driven, but maybe a little bit more pulled back than say what Moving On was.
Well, very cool. But when you're getting ready to release that new song, let me know, and we'll get it up on the CGCM Rock Radio Top 20 Countdown poll, and see if we can get some traction for you here in Canada and across North America and worldwide.
Thanks so much. We really appreciate the support, and we were talking earlier about just to have this opportunity for a band from the other side of the world in little old Perth, to have this kind of global exposure is something that we're really appreciative of, and obviously we're proud of what we do. So we're really happy that other people are listening to it and enjoying it. So keep playing it for us. That'd be great. We've got some plans for some live shows as well this year, so we'll make sure we'll keep you in the loop with that, and with all of our social media stuff, keep you in the link and looped up with all that kind of stuff.
Awesome, awesome. And now one of our sponsors here on CGCM Rock Radio is Iron Maiden Trooper Beer. And as everybody knows, Yannick, the third guitarist from Iron Maiden, is the guy that's always dropping his guitar or falling on his face or something like that. Have you guys had one of those Yannick moments on stage?
Do you want to
I
go first?
not with Cross-eyed Lover, but with a cover band. Uh, I remember we're playing on a tight stage, and the wall behind me was so close. I kept hitting my elbow, so it was really uncomfortable. But we're playing an up-tempo song, and the stick actually flicked out. It didn't actually happen to me personally, but it happened to someone else where the stick flicked out and copped someone in the head. And he actually thought that he actually got clobbered by someone. So he's looking around and really upset and angry and trying to look for the person. And then I kind of waved at him. I said, "Sorry, that was me." And he was maybe because I was in the band. Oh no, that's okay, no worries. But from a personal standpoint, I've been touch wood. I've been pretty lucky not to have that. Sal, I can't remember with yourself though.
Look, I've stepped on a guitar lead more times than I care to remember. So certainly, you're in the middle of your greatest, the greatest solo ever, and you step on that guitar lead and it all goes quiet. So that's not the greatest experience. I'm really grateful for wireless technology too these days. Although with technology sometimes that can cut out too. But
Mhm.
so yeah, I've had the odd fall, nothing crazy. But I've certainly tripped over, a guitar lead more time, and I'm pretty sure I've copped a few drumsticks in the face, Jason,
Drumsticks.
in some of those smaller venues where we're a little too close for comfort. And I love Jason; he's my bro, but yeah, way too many sticks to the face. So yeah, it's kind of question our friendship sometimes, but yeah, we keep going.
There you go. There you go. Well, this has
The
been
only
an
difference is that that was an accident with the other guy. With
Oh,
Sal,
these other ones are on purpose. Huh?
Thanks,
if he's
mate.
not pulling his weight, the drumstick's been thrown at him. He's just not aware.
Mate, my Les Paul weighs 5 kilos. I'll remember that next time I'm falling towards your kit. But anyway, we won't start an argument here on the show.
We won't. We'll do that in private. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk. And before we wrap things up, I like to do a little thing called This or That. It's got nothing to do with music, just a little bit of nonsense, some top of the head questions. So if you're ready, we're just going to fire away, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube for me.
YouTube.
Ocean vacation or holiday in the mountains?
I live by the ocean,
Mountains.
so I'll take the mountains, but I do love the beach.
All right. With that being said, beach or pool?
Beach for me.
Beach.
Burger
Yeah.
or pizza?
Pizza. We're Italian. We've got Italian heritage, so we're going to say pizza, I think.
Beer or wine?
Or
Beer for me.
depends the weather, but beer, yeah, especially now in summer here in Perth, beer definitely.
All right. Now with both you guys being Italian, this last question might set off some fireworks. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
I love pineapple on pizza, so I'll never be able to travel to Italy without being arrested at the gates there. But ham and pineapple is I really love. But I love my chilies and all that other good stuff. But pineapple's a goer for me.
I will admit it was invented by a Canadian.
They're good people, Canadians. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this has been a whole lot of fun. Jason and Sal from Cross-eyed Lover, take a few seconds and give your band and everything a big self-promotion.
I'll leave it to you, Jason.
Okay, well, we're Cross-eyed Lover. Catch us on our socials at Cross-eyed Lover. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We've got our own channel on YouTube, so you can check our video clip for Moving On and our previous lyric videos for Blonde Zombie and what you're going to do about it. And just stay tuned. There will be, like I said, there'll be some new music in March. There'll be a new song. There'll be some live gigs. There will be one in March as well, which is yet to be announced, but that's coming soon. And yeah, like I said earlier, there'll be some new music at the end of this year as well. So super excited. There's a lot going on in the Crosseyed Lover Camp.
All right. Perfect. I want to thank you again for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you and appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for joining us as well. And we'll catch you again next time on another edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock Is Not Dead Australia.